On one of the recent posts, I mentioned something about a woman with stage 4 advanced breast cancer who just came in from her oncologist, who told her she had 3 weeks to live. She was wheeled into our center on a gurney and wearing a mask for oxygen because she couldn't breathe because the cancer was all throughout her lungs. When I walked up to the gurney, she grabbed my arm and looked me in the eye and said, "Thank God, now I know I'm going to make it." And she did. 6 weeks later, jogging to the clinic. 8 years later, postcard from paradise. Yeah. So everyone, I mean, a lot of you have gotten a little, you're saying, well, what did you do? What did you do? Come on, tell us, what did you do? And some of you are even angry. I don't understand why you'd be angry, but anyway. So that's the wrong question. It means you haven't been listening. It's not what did I do, it's what did she do? Why is it that she was in Paris 8 years later and this poor person wasn't alive anymore? Why? Well, the point I was making, and I guess I failed to make it, so I apologize, is that she said, I know I'm going to make it. And by saying, I know I'm going to make it, that's what we call faith. Faith is when you know something's going to happen, and yet it hasn't happened. Not believe it, not think it's possible, or any of that stuff. But you know it. Just like you cut your finger when you're cutting an avocado open and you cut your finger, you don't believe it's going to heal. You rinse it off, put a Band-Aid on, you're done. You know it's going to heal, and it heals. And when you know all of this is going to heal, whatever's going on, or you're going to be restored to health, when you know it, it'll happen. Remember, knowing is not believing. Believing, you can believe in things that are not true. And when you believe something, that means you also doubt it. I believe you means I also doubt you. I know you're telling me the truth. I know it. Thank you. I know it. So you can believe in Santa Claus and Easter bunnies and tooth fairies and COVID, politicians. You can believe in them, but you can't and don't believe in mountains or oceans. You either know about them or you don't, because they're real. So that which is real can be known about or not, or known or not known. That which is not real can be believed or not believed. Okay, so that's it. So she knew. She knew because she had seen a lot of my videos, and she kind of got it. She understood that, hey, this body is an amazing divine machine that you cut and it heals. It heals. It was designed to heal. It wasn't designed to do anything else. It doesn't know how to do anything else but to regenerate and rejuvenate and procreate. Yes, it can become overwhelmed, and that's what does happen. But however, to harness all of those abilities and to make and to like negate all the stuff that's going on, you need to turn on the immune system. And you turn on the immune system. You not only turn on the immune system, but you turn on the immune system so that it's optimally functioning. And believe me, if your immune system is optimally functioning like it was when you were 18, whatever you have in you will be gone a week at the most. So that's what happens when you know. And you also shut off all sorts of stuff, because fear, doubt, anger, regret, envy, sadness, all these things suppress the immune system. We've talked about that repeatedly. The immune system is the shadow of the mind, and the mind is uncontrollable unless you control it. If you don't think about that, if you don't consider that, if you don't work with that, with your mind is like a wild monkey in a cage, going there and there and there and there and there, or it's like a fish on the beach, flopping here and there, going nowhere. Because thinking is not voluntary. Nobody decides to think. Nobody decides on the content of their thoughts. You can modify the contents of your thoughts, of your thinking, of this automatic process that is involuntary. You can modify it over years, months and years, by reading, continually reading certain subjects, getting certain friends, keeping yourself enclosed in a social network that is with certain kinds of friends that have certain kinds of discussions. And pretty soon, all of that becomes your internal dialogue. Otherwise, your internal dialogue is a result of your subconscious, which is 90% of your mind, and all the other stuff that's being input from CNN and from whatever. When you go to the sports bar or whatever it is, all that stuff is part of your internal dialogue. And it's just, it's madness. And it's like, So you can shut it off by not thinking, also called meditation. And meditation is just not thinking. You don't say, I'm going to meditate on this, because that's contemplation. Contemplation is different than meditation. Meditation is when the mind is empty. When it's empty, divinity comes through. And when it's got rough waters in it, you can't see the reflection of the sun on that rough watered lake. Okay, so your mind is like a lake. It's either still or it's ruffled. And if it's ruffled, there's no reflection of the beautiful blue sky and the sun. I hope you're not angry, but there's nothing, what I did with her is what I do with everybody. Change their diet, clean their colon, put them on a fast, lymphatic therapy, exercise with oxygen therapy, moving around, movement throughout the day, intravenous vitamin C, hyperthermia. In those days, we didn't have hyperthermia. In those days, we only had intravenous vitamin C and IPT and I think B17 back in those days. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. That was a long time ago. 15 years ago, I think. I don't remember. 12 years ago. But anyway, we didn't have a lot of different things, but now we have some extra wonderful things, and it would enhance the immune system. But all those things are things that we do with most people because cancer is cancer. Remember, cancer biology is cancer biology. And it doesn't matter where it began, if it began in the breast, the colon, the pancreas, the prostate, the brain, it's still the same biology, which is why they call it cancer. And they don't call it something else because it is doing this particular thing, which is called the Warburg effect, which is called aerobic glycolysis, which blah, 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 all that scientific nonsense, right? Okay, that's what it is biologically, and it began here. So if it began in the ovary, that means it can go here and go there and cause these problems. If it began in the pancreas, it can do this and cause these problems. If it began in the head, yeah, and you can see. So depending, that's why where the problems are, is location. They call it type of cancer. It's not type, it's location. Okay, so, but anyway, all of it that's happening can be eliminated. This immune system, do you know who made this immune system? God, it's perfect. It can do it. It can be overwhelmed. It can be overwhelmed, and it is overwhelmed. And if we keep knocking it down with our fear and our anger and our regret, and if we keep knocking it down, of course, it can't do its job. But if you just know it's gonna work, you know it works. Somebody come.